Hello everyone, my name is Dave Partner. Welcome to your 25th tutorial on Ionic with Firebase. In this tutorial, we'll check out how to retrieve data from Firebase and display it. Alright, in the past tutorial, I showed you how to retrieve just some data using one's value. But in this, I will show you how to retrieve a list of data, okay? But first of all, remember to subscribe to my channel. Visit youtube.com/c/braintime.org, and when the page opens, you pan to the right and subscribe. And also, don't forget that the codes for this tutorial is hosted on GitHub. So to access it, you just visit github.com/devozalo/fireblogger, and then you have access to the code. You can now clone it and clone it from here, and you have a copy of it on your system. And to subscribe to my channel, once you get to my channel on YouTube, you pan to the right and hit on subscribe. Or if you're watching this video straight off YouTube, there's a red subscribe button at the bottom of the video, so you just hit it. Alright, that being settled, we just go back to our folder. Remember, we have a Fireblogger folder, and I've written some code. Let me just show you what the app already looks like. In order to save time, I'll just walk you through the code. This is what the app looks like. It retrieves this thing from database. This guy made this post, and what the guy wrote in the post is dry. And then this guy made another post, and what the guy wrote in the post is saw that, and so on and so forth. So this post is saved on Firebase. So let me quickly open Firebase to show you where the post is getting saved. But there is also a button that I added here. This button is for creating new post. When you click it, a new page opens up, and that page is post add page. And then of course you can start typing, and so we can say I'm happy to be here and do great stuff. Subscribe. So stuff like that. So when you hit on post, what happens? It posts done successful, and when you hit OK, you can get back to the previous page, and let me show you. This guy should automatically update itself when you get to the Firebase. So this is Fireblogger on Firebase, and I just clicked on database, and this is the table we have. We can call it nodes. We have 3 nodes, one for users posts, and one for posts. Okay, and this users post and this post does basically the same thing. This is a table that will handle all our posts. So we have 3 posts so far. We had 2 that I initially showed you, one that contains try, posted by this user. This is the ID of the user, and here we have the user saved. So if you look at the page very well, you see that this guy that ends with 93, that's this guy. So this guy made a post, and what he wrote in the post is try. Alright, and this other guy made this post too. It happens to be the same guy, and there's this other post. So what you can learn from this is the one we just made right now, so we can say I'm happy and whatever. So what you can learn from this post is there's a post node, and for each time we make a post, it creates a new node with a random key, and then adds the post, adds the body of the post, it adds the name of the ID of the unique ID of the guy that posted it, and that's the how we wrote the code. Alright, but what you have here, which means different people can have different posts, so there can be several different posts on this database. We'll just identify the guy that made this post using their UID. But the problem is that what if when you have 10 million posts on your table, and you want to retrieve the posts of, say, user this particular guy that ends with 93, or user number 13? Do you have to search through the whole 10 million posts before you can retrieve only 10 posts made by this user? It doesn't make sense resource wise. So to save ourselves from the headache of having to search through a whole lot of data, what we can do is in as much as we're saving the post in a large dump of posts. Let's say that we have 10 million users and all of them are updating at the same time. This is where we dump all the posts, but also we can save each individual's post here. So what we have is we created another users post node. We just named it this. You can name yours anything, and then we use the name, and then we yes the user ID of this user. So what we have is this guy that ends with 93. We say go to user posts. So we are also saving these posts here where we can categorize them according to each user. So we have user post slash the user's ID, which is whatever at 93, and then under this user ID we have the post keys. So we can say that this guy made these posts. So if we have another user that makes another post, we have another node here right under this one, and then we can pile up all the posts of that user under it. So this guy just categorizes these posts according to each user. So if I wanted to display to the user, so it just holds all the, we have these guys categorized, and then we just have all the posts piled up under here. So it kind of solves a big problem for us. So if we want to display to this user the post made by this particular user, we'll just make a call to user post this user's ID, and automatically we have all the posts by this user. We don't need to search the 10 million posts that are piled on that posts. So that's how you save stuff here, so that it will be easy for you to retrieve and very fast. Okay, now we've seen how the database is structured. Let's just quickly walk through the code. So right in the code here we have two pages. The first one is the home, and the second one is a provider, a service. Remember that remember how to create a page in ionic2. What we have here is a Fireblogger folder, and inside the app folder we have inside the pages we created a page that we call home, and we created another page that we call posts add, and of course so we created this one too, but not necessarily. We just need these two guys, and we also created a provider that we call post service. You know what providers does? It just connects to your Firebase directly, and if you are using stuff like MongoDB, you just use your provider to connect to it directly. Okay, so we just created another one just for simplicity's sake and called it post service. And so what the post service does is connect to our Firebase and help us retrieve data. So let's quickly open our HTML page. We just get back to our code and open home.html, and oops, what did I just do? We open it with our editor. We right click, and then we open with our editor right here. So I'll show you. First of all, if you are observant, you see that we just changed the background color to something ash. So I'll just show you where we did that. So we just get back to your app, and then you get to theme, you get to app variables.css scss, and we get here. This is how we did it. We just did and content, and then we set the background color. If you also want to set it with an image, maybe you have an image, this is how to do it. You just add your image in your www/images folder, and you add the image. So this is our www folder right here, and we have our image img, and this is the background image. So inner background, that's what we named it, the jpg. So when you get back to your code, you can just link to it like this: img, then inner background, and then you put it in center and cover. Alright, but I decided to use a background directly, so you can make your choice on what you want to do. And secondly, what we first of all did was go to post service, and we quickly, of course, we imported Firebase, and we created a post service. You remember how to create a service, ionic and to create a provider, you say ionic generate provider, then you call it post service. You hit enter, it will create this page for you, and then you will access the page from from your app providers, and this guy will be here and this file will be inside. So that's the file we're working with now. So first of all, import Firebase like this, and then secondly, what you have to do is to quickly you declare some variables. I'll get down to how we got to these variables, but these are variables I just declared. You can call yours anything. And then there's some, we have to make some references to Firebase database. So the first one we need is the user node. Remember, we have users, and the second one we need is the post node. We remember we have posts, and the last one we need is the the reference to users post. Remember, we are saving in two nodes simultaneously, and then finally we have the fireref, where we made a reference to just general Firebase, so that we can add other things to it. Now, first of all, what we have in this post node is a way to view a post. So if we pass a post ID into this, it will quickly retrieve the post for us. And remember, we're using once, just like we did in the user's profile. And secondly, we have a view users post service, where we you can call yours anything. I'm just naming my functions the way I can remember. View users post service. Then you have a user ID. Once you pass a user ID inside, it quickly retrieves the posts by that user. And remember, we have users post node here, and this, what this guy does is go and retrieve all the posts by this user. So if we say user post node slash, this child means slash user ID, it will retrieve all the posts under it. And then next we have meanwhile this should be on. Next we have list post service that quickly just, so what that one should be on. I will explain the differences between you. Then we have finally the main one we want to use. All those ones are just we're going to use them later. So this is the one we want to concentrate on create post. What create post does is helps us create a post. We just have to pass in the user name, the ID of the user who is creating this post. That's the UID. Then we pass what post the guy is creating. In subsequent time, we can start having things like time the guy created it, and other necessary stuff depending on how you're building your own application. So inside there we have to save it as an object here, and we have a UID. This is what it will name it in the field in the database. So when you go to Firebase, it's going to call it UID. So depending on whatever you put here as the name is what will be right here in your Firebase. Alright, we name ours UID and body. You can name yours anything, and then it will take whatever parameter you passed into the function and put it there. So we have saved all of this inside a variable we call post data. And then next we're going to generate a key, and the name of the key is, these guys are keys, these guys are random keys, you understand, just like an ID for the field, the table, okay, the record. Okay, so a unique ID, so we'll generate a unique ID for the record. So we'll go to post node and generate a unique ID. Remember, post node is this guy here in the constructor. We have post node where we declared it to be posts. So we generate a unique ID for it here, and we save the ID in a variable we call new post key. You can call yours anything. And right here we declare this guy here and say go to posts. This is a path. We are trying to declare a path. You can use any variable for yours. I just use update path for mine. Okay, so we say go to posts, go to new post key slash new post key, which is the new key we generated, and then dump the data. The data we're dumping is this guy here. Alright, so it goes to post slash this new key generated and dumps the data. That's what happens here. It goes to post, this is the new key generated, then it dumps the data. Alright, and we have this part too again. Say, in as much as you're dumping it here, go to this user's post again, and this new under the user's ID also dump the under the new post key, dump the post. Okay, so in the second part, that's just what happens under the user's ID, under the new post key that was generated. So this key maps to this key. So these two tables understand each other using this key, and then we dump the data again for easy retrieval. So this function or update function on Firebase helps you to update two different nodes simultaneously. I call it table so you really understand easily. So use the update to update whatever you have here. We have saved these two guys here, so we're using the update function to update them simultaneously, and that's what happens whenever we call this function and passing this variable. And then finally, when you get to your home.ts on list post, remember this is home.ts. We'll first of all import the post service. Here we have the post service. We import it, then we save it as a provider. We declare it in our constructor as this, then we just name it this variable. Then we use this variable right inside the list post method and say this post service, the list post service. You know, there is the list post service here. Oops. Let me just show you through the post. That's kind of a mix up there. I just showed you how to create a post from a post service, and when we want to list all the posts, the function is just one line. We just say go to post node and retrieve everything there on value. Sorry, we say everything there, retrieve it, and value helps you monitor changes. Once it changes, it runs the function again. So those are the two methods we need here, and the video is getting long. In the next video, I'll put you through how to how we can then use it in our HTML pages and retrieve the data. So thank you very much. See you in the next video. Don't forget that the codes for this tutorial is on GitHub, and if you want to contact me, maybe I can join your team. I can help you out with your building of your app. You can contact me. Here's my email right there on GitHub. You can always get to me through this email. Thank you very much. See you in the next video.